Gentlemen?
Good day, gentlemen. Cyclone Duke here again, and today I'm going to be commentating on the new Smissmas Pyro set, the Phlogistonator, Man Mentler, and the Third Degree. But before, let's just watch as I waste some money on crates. Let me tell you guys who refuse to buy keys, you're doing it right, because even though you can't get unusuals from these crates, I don't get so lucky this time. So, before we get into the Pyro gameplay, let me just sum it up very quickly. I think that the new Pyro weapons have their place. I think that the flamethrower is not good. I think that the flare gun could be a side grade. And I think that the Third Degree with the small fix could be very useful. So, the Phlogistonator, which is the flamethrower. Well, what does it have? Basically, it's WM1. You have no airblast whatsoever. You can't get critical hits. However, if you deal 200 points of fire damage, you will be able to taunt and activate crits and fully heal yourself for about 10 seconds. About 4 of those seconds, though, are used on using up the taunt itself. You do gain damage resistance during the taunt, so that is useful, but it will not protect you from backstabs, apparently. I've used this weapon an awful lot, and while it is fun to use those crits and kill people with them, and sometimes the heal can save you, I've found that not having the air blast is just too great of a drawback. In this video I'm killed many times by soldiers where I think that air blast could have helped me. On the flip side, however, I do get to use that heal a few times and it does help. But the complete lack of an air blast, I think, removes a large part of the gameplay. You see here that I dive in a bit too far into an engineer with too many sentries up. So while I do think the particle effect of the flames, the flamethrower, does look very cool. Notice there that killing a building, by the way, did not increase my bar, which I think is a bit lame. I do think that the particle effects of the flames is pretty cool. Moving on though, onto the flare gun, the Man Melter. The stats of it are that its flare travels 50% faster, which is decent. It doesn't need ammo, which is a non-issue. The projectile can't be deflected, which, I mean, if you've got a pyro who's reflecting your flares, he's a damn good pyro, and that's pretty rare. And finally, if you hold down the alt fire, you will create a small vacuum that you channel. Here's me using the taunt here, fully heal myself up, kill that engineer, kill that scout. You can hold down the alt fire on the flare to create a little vacuum that you can just channel, and you'll extinguish anyone who is on fire, which you can store them as crits then, guaranteed crits from the flare gun, which hit for 90 damage. Which is good, and I think it would be good against pyros. I mean, in general, I don't think that's super great, because I think the biggest drawback of the Man Melter is the fact that you don't get those crits. If you hit somebody with a flare from the Man Melter while they're on fire, you don't get a crit for 90 damage. You don't even get a mini crit. I just went onto a live server before this video to test it. Here I'm about to use this taunt again. I nearly get backstabbed, but it does actually save me from what would have probably been certain death to that scout. So it does have its uses. But yes, you don't even get a mini crit if you hit an enemy with the flare from the Man Melter. I just went onto a live round before this video to test it, and it did 25 damage at just about point blank range. And that's kind of a big deal. If you normally run with the flare gun and use it to handle, it seems that Puff and Sting has been replaced by Puff and Flare. You just puff someone into the air, set them on fire, and hit them with a 90 damage flare for the kill. Losing that is a pretty big deal, because it really hurts the pyro's long range damage capability, where if you're good, you can land 90 damage on someone who's already taken fire damage. You're probably going to kill an engineer or maybe even a medic, 150 health. In addition to the fire damage, of course. So, I don't think the Man Melter is where it needs to be. I do think it is a downgrade, particularly, damn you, Pyro. Particularly if you're looking at the flare and even the detonator, because at least with the detonator, you've got a mini crit and you've got the jump capability. Currently you can bug it to get a full crit, but well, I'll not factor that into this discussion because, you know, exploits and cheats aren't cool. It's, I don't think, good to rely on, first off, a pyro being around lighting up your friends, and then secondly, being able to extinguish those friends just to get that, as opposed to simply just knowing that you'll be able to do it. So, moving on to the axe, the third degree, it is what a lot of people would complain about, a direct upgrade over stock. Worst case scenario, it's a fire axe that swings for roughly 65 damage, it'll crit for 195, but the thing about it, of course, is that if you're healing a person who's being healed by a medic, or anyone who is connected with a medic beam, including even a medic train, and they're all healing each other, you will hit everyone else on that train for the same damage, including crits and all that. That's just an extra effect it has. It doesn't necessarily have any downsides compared to the fire axe. Of course, if you ask me, I would say that it is a downside compared to the fact that you're not using the extinguisher. I'm about to use I'm wondering there if that's a Spy School dead ringer because he just vanished. I'm about to use you'll see now me using the ability of the Phlogiston here, by the way, the crits. But with regards to the third degree, it is just an upgrade over stock, but it's not the extinguisher, it's not the power jack, it's not the home wrecker. Notice here as well that the crits didn't save me. So the third degree is interesting, but it's not the extinguisher, and I think a trend that is certainly appearing with melee weapons is that in this game full of guns, melee isn't super great. You've got a lot of classes who have melee quote-unquote upgrades which are better than the stock because they're situational, or they do things which isn't just hit people with melee, they do different things. Scout has the atomizer, he doesn't care about melee, he wants that triple jump. Medic has the uber saw, he's not meleeing someone, he's just doing it to gain uber. Soldier has the equalizer, he just wants to run fast. Pyro has the extinguisher. When you extinguish people, you're not just meleeing them, you're killing them. In particular, now, if you're looking at an overhealed heavy, you're going to want your extinguisher for that, otherwise you're going to have no hope. So the third degree, I think that it isn't as good as it could be. I really like the idea. And actually when I saw it, I said to myself, wow, is Medic going to get a medigun that heals multiple people now? Which I think would be awesome. But he didn't. But the third degree, taking away the ability to extinguish people, I think is such a big risk because it really hurts your ability to fight a lot of classes in a lot of situations. And you're looking at a situational ability to use. If you can get onto a medic's patient and get in 2-3 good swings, which is what you're going to need to kill the medic if they've not been hurt already, trading away the extinguisher for that I think is a risky move. Now that said, I think the third degree could actually be very useful if it worked with the Phlogistinator's crits. Hell, I think the Phlogistinator's crits would be awesome if they'd worked on, if you swapped weapons and was able to keep the crits going. I think that would really make the Phlogistinator quite a lot more interesting and useful. But in particular, with the third degree, hitting up those crits, walking up to a medic, or even just the medic's patient, a slow heavy. I thought I was using the extinguisher there when I hit that soldier. Walking up to a medic's patient with crits ready and just critting that medic's patient to kill the medic would be awesome. Unfortunately right here I get killed, and I've really found this during this gameplay when I don't have the shotgun, when I can't swap quickly with the degreaser. Scouts really gave me a lot of trouble. But hey, there's my input so far on the new Pyro set. Have an exquisite day, guys. All the best.